Hello everyone and welcome back to what we've already done for Group 3 and Group 4. But for Group 2, which Group 2 car is the fastest. So once again, we're going to do the normal test, which is 0 to 100 miles an hour. To find out which one's the quickest to that. Then we've got the start-finish line speed at that point. And then we have the top speed at the very end. Which car is the quickest overall by themselves, of course, in terms of getting to that top speed. And also the potential of slipstream in there as well, because we look at how much of the rev bar is remaining. Obviously, if the full bar is remaining, slipstream is going to be strong on that car because it can go for so long. Whereas if it's got no bar left, it's just going to hit the limiter and slipstream's a bit pointless for it. Now, because Group 2 is a tiny bit small, as in there are 6 cars in Group 2, I've actually also done the racing medium 0 to 100, the racing hard 0 to 100, and the racing soft 0 to 100. And with those, I've put those times in. As you get less grip, you have to be a bit careful with the data. So while I've put the data in there, I would like to test those tyres a bit more. But the information's in there for you to check out. I suppose, first of all, we best get on with our first little test, hadn't we? It shouldn't be too long of a video for you. So let's jump to the 0 to 100 miles an hour on the Racing Super Soft tyre. Which car was the quickest to 100? Here we are then in the NSX. And what we do is we pull up to the line like so. Just in case you've not seen any of these videos before, this is how we do the test. We line up exactly with the white line just going off screen. So you'll see I'm just edging forward. And we stop. Now we have traction control just to limit the wheel spin at the start. And as I've released a handbrake on the left-hand side, literally as the light switched off there, we take note of this time, 29.766. We then accelerate away. We turn the traction control off in the middle of the dial this time at the top. And already we're at 100 miles an hour because we've gone that quick. We then take note of the time on the left-hand side. I know you can't see the first couple of seconds, but don't worry, I've worked that out already. And then we go to the leaderboard. And then we see that the Honda Epson NSX 2008 car is the quickest to 100 miles an hour. Now, one thing to note with this car in particular is that this car wheel spins more than any of the other cars on the harder compound of tyres, which suggests that even when I turn traction control off, it manages to get out of that bogging situation. So the NSX is very good if you have traction control there available to you to initially get going. However, if you had no traction control at all, I imagine it'd be one of the worst starters out of all of these cars. Critically on here, you can see that the old cars are the quickest to 100 miles an hour, quite substantially as well, while the newer cars are a good half a second off the pace. So a little bit of information for you there, nice and easy. What we're going to do now then is we're going to go to the start-finish line speed, because there is a difference between the start-finish line and the top speed. So let's jump to that now. So here we are with the GTR, the 2008 GTR. Now, I'm just showing you the start as well, so you can see where I'm changing gear, etc. Generally speaking, as I've demonstrated in the past, where the game suggests in the settings, that is where I am changing gear. So it specifies in RPM. So if you think I'm doing anything wrong, let me know in the comments. However, we're racing up to this start-finish line now. And as we get here is where we pause it. And you can see it's 182 miles an hour. And we're actually near the top end here already in this GTR. So what we're going to do, we'll whiz back to the old B-roll here. And let's have a look at the start-finish line speed, where we can see the old cars on 182 each. We then have the GTR, the Lexus, and then the brand new Honda at the bottom. Now, critically here, it's nice to see all the classic cars on the same speed. It shows there's some balance of performance there. Critically, and I've got to say this, I was a bit disappointed to see the new cars having such a difference. We all know the GTR is always the Group 2 car to go to, the new one, the GTR 2016 car. The fact it's the fastest to the start-finish line suggests that there is a problem there, and maybe it does need a slight change in that car. Even so, you can see there the classic cars coming in 1, 2, 3, taking the spoils of the podium. Right, what we need to do now is actually find out which car has their best top speed here. And trust me, one car does have the best top speed. Here we are then in the Lexus, the classic Lexus. So this one, you have to shift the earliest. It was 7,000 it states in the game. You can see the rev counter is the lowest. And again, you will see the whole test here now. You didn't see it with everyone because obviously we stopped it at each finish. However, you've seen 3, 0 to 100. You'll have seen 2 start finish lines, and this is the final top speed one. Critically, as we get here, you'll notice that we nearly shifted to 183. So this one was actually the fastest there in reality. We just haven't gone that specific. I know a few people have complained about kilometers an hour, miles an hour. This is just to get a rough guide. We're not going into that detail because you need a lot more data analysis then at that point. However, we stop it here, bang on as the highway lines start, and then the 200 meter board is right there. And you can see 186 miles an hour. Now, in a second, or as you're about to say, you're going to go, Tidge, there's 2 on 186. There are, and you'll see the Hondas above because we do it in alphabetical order. But I will say this, the Lexus was the fastest. It was fastest by a good half a mile an hour. If we were doing kilometers an hour, and before all you guys were going to go, Tidge, 3 kilometers an hour now, blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you now, the Lexus is faster by a bit. And then it's a Honda, and then it's the Nissan in terms of the classic cars. The classic cars, you know, being at the top in this sort of test is good because we know they don't have as much downforce, so this all makes perfect sense. If we ever have Le Mans no chicane, use the classic cars. If we ever have a special stage Route X, use the classic car, although they'll use a different BoP, so maybe not, but you get the idea. Now, one thing I do want to talk about here, just briefly, while we've got the leaderboard up, is that Honda NSX down at the bottom at 180 miles an hour. That car is slow. It is ridiculously slow. And as we know, the GTR is also the best car constantly for Group 2, especially when tyre wear is concerned. Something needs to happen to that NSX. Something needs to happen. It should not be in 6th place. It is a death trap to drive anyway. It's much harder to drive than the other cars. So why is it the slowest? So you can't even make up a mistake in that car. So I think that's kind of bad, if I'm honest. So I think we've seen a potential BoP issue in Group 2 with just that NSX at the bottom. There was always going to be a BoP issue with the classic and the new cars just because of the change in downforce, etc. But in terms of the new cars, that's significant to me. The Lexus and the Nissan are top end, 183, 3 miles an hour quicker than the NSX. I think that's a problem. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comments below. But that is going to be it in terms of this test. Now, the spreadsheet is in the description. It's got also the racing soft, medium and hard 0 to 100 times if you want to check them out. We also have the Group 3 and Group 4 videos, which are going to be coming on your screen any second now. If you did like this video and, you know, you want to keep in touch with the content, please subscribe. But also give the video a thumbs up as well. Doesn't cost you anything and helps the channel out a huge amount, actually. You don't actually realise, weirdly, in the background, when you actually look at the analysis, it's crazy. But anyway, that is going to be it for me now, folks. As I say, I do hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you in another video or live stream very soon.